Most people think they already know the worst thing that could happen to them. Eleanor used to think so too. Years ago, during her final month of high school, a teacher asked a strange question: "What is the worst thing that has ever happened to you, and how did you survive it?" At 17, Eleanor believed the answer was simple. She thought her biggest challenge had already come and gone. She was wrong. Years later, that question returns to haunt her. Now, Eleanor finds herself trapped in a situation far beyond anything she ever imagined. Cut off from the outside world and surrounded by strangers, she realizes that the real test of survival has only just begun. The life she once knew has disappeared, replaced by fear, uncertainty, and a future she cannot predict. Before everything changed, Eleanor was traveling with her boyfriend, Scott. The two had recently begun an exciting backpacking adventure, determined to explore the world before settling into careers and responsibilities. They were young, optimistic, and full of plans. Every destination represented a new opportunity, and every day felt like the beginning of something wonderful. Then, without warning, that future vanished. One ordinary evening during their travels, Eleanor became separated from Scott. What should have been a routine stop on their journey turned into a nightmare. She suddenly found herself taken away from everything familiar and thrust into a terrifying situation she could neither understand nor escape. When the story begins, Eleanor has already spent several days in confinement. She shares a dark room with a group of young women who are just as frightened and confused as she is. Nobody knows where they are. Nobody knows who is behind their disappearance. More importantly, nobody knows what will happen next. The room is filled with silence. Not because the women have nothing to say, but because fear has convinced them that speaking is dangerous. Eleanor spends most of her time observing. She is exhausted, hungry, and emotionally drained, yet she refuses to completely give in to despair. While many people would react emotionally, Eleanor chooses a different approach. She watches. She listens. She waits. Deep down, she understands something important. Survival is not always about fighting. Sometimes survival is about patience. Everything changes when a new arrival enters the room. Her name is Tess. Unlike the others, Tess refuses to remain quiet. Despite her fear, she immediately reaches out to Eleanor, offering food and conversation. It is a small gesture, but inside such a hopeless environment, it means everything. As the two women begin talking, they discover that they share similar experiences. Tess was also separated from someone she loved. She has no idea whether her boyfriend is safe, and the uncertainty is eating away at her. Eleanor understands that feeling all too well. She has no way of knowing whether Scott is searching for her or whether he even knows she is missing. Their conversation becomes the first real human connection either of them has experienced since arriving. For a brief moment, the darkness feels less overwhelming. The friendship that develops between Eleanor and Tess quickly becomes one of the emotional foundations of the story. They come from different backgrounds and possess very different personalities, yet both are struggling to hold on to hope. Tess is passionate and outspoken. Eleanor is cautious and controlled. Together, they represent two very different responses to adversity. As more time passes, Eleanor begins noticing the emotional state of the other women around her. Some have withdrawn completely into silence. Others cling desperately to optimism. A few seem ready to break under the pressure. The uncertainty is the hardest part, not knowing why they are there. Not knowing how long they will remain. Not knowing whether anyone is coming to help them. Despite these fears, Eleanor refuses to allow panic to control her actions. She understands that fear clouds judgment. If an opportunity ever appears, she wants to be ready. The following morning, the captives are abruptly ordered to leave their room. The atmosphere changes instantly. The women are escorted through a network of corridors by men who make it clear that compliance is expected. Every movement is controlled. Every instruction must be followed. Tess immediately challenges the situation. Eleanor does not. This difference highlights the contrast between the two women. Tess reacts with open defiance, demanding answers and refusing to accept what is happening. Eleanor chooses restraint, believing that understanding the situation is more important than acting on impulse. Neither approach is easy. Both require courage. As the group moves deeper into the facility, Eleanor pays attention to everything around her. She studies the layout, the routines, and the behavior of the people in charge. The more she observes, the more she realizes that this operation appears organized and deliberate. Nothing feels random, nothing feels temporary. Every step suggests planning. That realization is more frightening than anything else. For the first time, Eleanor begins to understand that the women are part of something much larger than they originally believed. The captives are eventually taken to another section of the building where they are instructed to prepare themselves. The process itself is less important than what it represents. To Eleanor, it feels like another stage in a carefully designed system. The realization forces her to confront an uncomfortable truth. The people responsible for their captivity have a purpose. And that purpose involves every woman in the room. As fear spreads through the group, Eleanor struggles to control her emotions. She wants answers. She wants freedom. Most of all, she wants her old life back. Yet she knows that wishing for those things will not change her circumstances. What matters now is survival. Throughout the ordeal, memories of Scott continue to surface. She remembers how they met. She remembers the excitement of planning their journey together. She remembers conversations about the future and dreams that once felt guaranteed. Now those memories serve a different purpose. They remind her what she is fighting for. Every memory strengthens her determination to endure. No matter how difficult the situation becomes, Eleanor refuses to forget who she was before all of this happened. That decision becomes her greatest source of strength. While others focus on what they have lost, Eleanor focuses on what still remains. Her intelligence, her resilience, her ability to think clearly, her hope. As the day progresses, the tension among the captives continues to rise. Some women become increasingly emotional. Others begin losing confidence that things will ever improve. Tess, however, remains unwilling to surrender her spirit. Again and again, she questions the situation. Again and again, she refuses to act defeated. Her determination inspires Eleanor even when it worries her. The stronger Tess resists emotionally, the more attention she attracts. Eleanor fears that courage without caution can be dangerous. At the same time, she admires her friend's refusal to break. Together, they form an unlikely balance. One represents patience, the other represents defiance. As events continue unfolding, Eleanor reaches a critical realization. She cannot control what has happened to her. She cannot control the people responsible. She cannot control the uncertainty surrounding her future, but she can control how she responds. That understanding changes everything. Rather than viewing herself solely as a victim, Eleanor begins seeing herself as a survivor. The distinction is important. Victims wait for circumstances to change. Survivors prepare for the moment they can change them. The atmosphere becomes increasingly tense as the women are eventually separated into smaller groups. One by one, individuals disappear through different doors. No explanations are offered. No one knows where they are going. No one knows if they will return. The small community that formed inside the room begins to disappear. Friendships are interrupted. Conversations are cut short. Fear returns stronger than ever. For Eleanor, the possibility of losing Tess is especially painful. Their friendship developed under impossible circumstances, yet it provided a sense of comfort neither expected to find. Now even that comfort may be taken away. As the number of captives decreases, Eleanor understands that another major turning point is approaching. Whatever comes next will determine the course of her future. Eventually, her turn arrives. Separated from the others, Eleanor is led into an unfamiliar room and left alone. Questions race through her mind. What happens now? Will she ever see Scott again? Will she ever see Tess again? Will she ever regain the life that was taken from her? No answers come, only silence. Standing alone, Eleanor feels fear, uncertainty, and grief all at once. Yet beneath those emotions lies something stronger. Determination. Everything she has endured has transformed her. The young traveler who once believed the world was full of endless possibilities has discovered a strength she never knew she possessed. Her circumstances remain uncertain. Her future remains unclear, but one thing has become undeniable. She is still fighting. And as another door closes behind her, Eleanor prepares herself for whatever challenge awaits next, knowing that her greatest battle may only be beginning.